The following scenario is a representation of how to destroy the personal sense of value that each individual has, which ultimately results in a destructive culture. It centers around a book that has been misplaced. Let's see what happens.
First, the book is discovered, which means there's a problem. This problem then must immediately be brought up to the supervisor. The supervisor takes it to the big boss, who essentially tells him, solve the problem. So immediately he starts the process to requisition an action. Unfortunately, there is a lot of paperwork and actions ahead, which of course takes time. And a little more time, and a little more time until finally the paperwork is ready. Once the paperwork is ready, it is brought back to the supervisor. Unfortunately, he's on vacation, so it is brought back again, and again, and again, and again, until finally the supervisor returns from his vacation 3 days later. Once signed, the requisition is brought back to the big boss, who signs it and pushes it forward. Now it must go to the person who originally discovered the problem, so that they can sign and acknowledge that the problem exists. Now that the document has all 3 signatures, it must be stamped by the correct department. Once stamped, now the action can be taken. Unfortunately, when they get to the bookcase, where does the book go? This requires a consensus for everyone to participate in. Eventually, it is brought back up to the big boss, who takes the book, walks to the bookcase, and puts it in himself. Ultimately, it is the management that has to do the work.
So imagine if you were part of this scenario, and maybe you are. How do you feel? Do you feel competent? Do you feel that you actually are making an impact in the organization, that you're making a difference, that you actually have value? Or do you feel like you are a cog in a machine that is basically just slave to the bureaucracy? Ultimately, if you have too much bureaucracy in your organization, you will destroy the personal sense of value in your team. And ultimately that destroys your organizational culture. So if you want to improve your culture, reduce the bureaucracy. This is Arthur Carmazzi wishing you great success and having fun in the process of creating a great company culture.